the analogy, as you're putting me on the spot here to think about my stingray, what we're thinking about is to not be, don't assume that things are going to get better or that initiative is going to work out just because you're doing A through B all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's always going to be that risk or something that pops up that's going to keep a project or going to keep a task from proceeding and moving successfully. And
Yeah.
so sometimes we do need to slow down and look at what we're doing in order to figure out where do we pick up again
Yeah.
and continue.
Yeah. Love it. Hey, that was great. You did great with that. And I'm really glad you're feeling better, that you're making progress. Maybe that's one analogy too, is right, that innovation is sometimes two steps forward and one step back. And but I bet you'll be back out on the surfboard, or at least scuba diving again soon. And you got to move forward, right?
That's right. I like the ocean, and so I like turtles. I'm not a fan of stingrays, but it's rejuvenating. It's something that I enjoy. And I think with anyone, do what you love and do it with a passion, and don't forget about all the things that make you happy outside of work as well, because all of it is interconnected.
Yeah.
Because when you come into a new organization, or you come into a new district, you want to understand where the vision of the district is, and
Yeah.
then how do you encapsulate that vision into your vision as a whole system vision to move the team forward. And so I take a lot of time to understand the culture, to understand the traditions, to understand the language, and bring it all together to understand what are the current success areas that are happening within our organization, and then what are the areas that are challenging, and what are the areas that we need to improve on. I'd argue that innovation is a combination of soft skills to lead an organization forward. I've used and referenced a lot of Michael Fullan's coherence framework
Okay.
in using it within my organization and understanding that to create clarity, you need a focus. And that focus is either grounded in a district's mission or a vision or in my own department's vision.
Hmm.
And then from there, aligning it with things that create change or
Hmm.
policies that create change or goals that create change. And then comes the idea of deeper learning. And so that's the idea of how do we struggle within our
Hmm.
learning,
Okay.
and how do we look at a current process. And if it's easy, we don't want to take a shortcut to make it easy. We essentially want to get into that learning pit of struggling to figure out how do we solve a problem or how do we solve a challenge and learn from it and find a way to, either document that learning or do a lessons learned type of learning. In IT, you don't typically find educators. It's very rare
Right.
and so there's a few of us,
Yeah.
but it's such a needed area because it allows me to connect the vision that we have with our district. And, speaking in broader terms, it allows us to connect the vision that any organization has with
Yeah.
what's actually happening on the ground. And
Right.
uh, sometimes you could ask for permission. Can I ask a clarifying question?
I love
Um,
that. Is now an okay time?
yeah. And,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's more about that. Are you going to get into a question that's going to lead you into an instructional type of
Right.
zone, or is it going to be a question that's going to put you in a position where you're more facilitating a conversation?
Yeah.
Is it going to be a question that's going to allow them to think? I look at it from what is the meaning and the purpose of what I'm trying to sell, and if it has a meaning and a purpose that connects with a goal that we have or a vision that we have, then I start connecting the dots. So my recommendation for any CTO in these positions is to fully engage in what other schools in the counties have to offer and find a network, because a network allows you to improve
Yeah.
uh, way faster than doing it all on your own. When you mentioned how sometimes you deal with hierarchical cultures and worldwide, how different they're all different. Um, Speaking the same language and having norms is so key to just collaborate and start somewhere, uh, and checking in, right? Those check-ins are really important too.